Hey everyone, Brendan Snyder here. How are you? Thanks so much for joining me and welcome to a special review for the long lost, unreleased second studio album from a band called Trigger. This was recorded in 1979. They put out an album in 78, one and only album, and then this album got shelved, never released, and now 46 years on, finally seeing the light of day from Bada Bing Records. I am so glad this is finally coming out. If you know anything about the band or check them out from their Rock Candy Records reissue, and you know Rock Candy knows what they're doing, you're gonna wanna check this one out. So stick around, I'm gonna do a full review and unboxing of this album right here, right now. But of course, before we get into it, if you are new to my channel and you haven't already hit the subscribe button, please do. Also leave a comment, hit like, all those things do help support my channel. I greatly appreciate it. And of course, as an added bonus, by turning on notifications, you'll never miss an episode and stay up to date on really cool things like this with an album review for Trigger's second round, their second album, which is unreleased until now, 46 years on from its release. These kind of things always really excite me. I'll get into more of that and why later on. But first, I want to jump back and do a little bit of history on this band because unfortunately, there is not much known about these guys out there except now what we know from the Rock Candy Records reissue of their debut album. But they formed in 1973 based in New Jersey. The band itself plays glam rock style music, amongst other stuff, but in the style of Slade and Angel. Jimmy Dugan, who unfortunately died in 2001, I think even sounds like Slade frontman Noddy Holder. And for those of you that are too young to know who Slade are, think of Kevin Dubrow of Quiet Riot. It's that sort of gravelly, gruff style vocal that just works so well over the melodic sort of pop stylings of the glam rock sound that they are. The band itself came to the attention of Casablanca Records, which we all know from having signed Kiss. So it was actually Gene Simmons who noticed the band and brought them to Casablanca Records. And in 1978, they recorded and released the debut album, which is this one here, the one that I showed you as being reissued now by Rock Candy Records. So this one coming out in 1978, featuring a really kind of tough and gritty hard rock sound with a melodic flair that was really, I think, perfect of the era. Should have done more than it did. Unfortunately, it did not. It didn't really catch on. And the band went into the studio and began work on what would have become this album. And unfortunately, Casablanca dropped the band. They did some lineup changes and stuck around till about 85 before completely hanging it up at that point. But if we fast forward to 2009 when this gets reissued, and that's the first time I hear about the band or know anything about the band at that point. So thank you to Rock Candy Records for doing that, getting it out. It would be one of those bands that otherwise I think I would probably never know anything about. And sort of to my surprise, I really enjoyed this stuff. I think a lot because I do enjoy Slade and I do enjoy Quiet Riot, and the vocalist, the main guy, having that same sort of sound and style certainly was something that triggered interest within me, and I latched onto that. But imagine my surprise when I found out that there was a lost album from 1979 that is going to be released by Bada Bing Records. So this album here, second round, I mean, can you say elated? That's how I felt with this sort of thing. Anytime that I think there is a band, it's one and done, it's only this. I've talked about this band on my underrated and obscure albums episodes that I do with Grant Arthur from Grant's Rock Warehouse. So I've talked about them before. And like I said, finding out that there was another album certainly piqued my interest, and was just very happy that Bada Bing Records was taking a chance and getting this out into the public's hands. And I think it's well deserved too. So let's go ahead and talk about it now. As I said, second studio album, recorded in 1979, 46 years on for us to now finally see this thing. There's 10 tracks on here, and it clocks in at 36 minutes. So the album has the same flair and style as the debut album. If you picked that up or you know of that album through Rock Candy Records, you're going to enjoy this new one second round. Um, I think that if the band had managed to get out more than just this album, and unfortunately way too long out now for this to really make an impact, but if at the time the band had gotten a few more albums out the way that Angel did through Casablanca, I do think that the band could have developed a bigger cult following. The musical styles of Trigger certainly rest in the pop rock, glam rock, hard rock, and melodic rock stylings. And their 1978 debut, while fitting of the era, was probably just a little bit too late to the game to really catch on. The music was still there, but I think if they had come out earlier around 75, 76, again, they could have gotten a bit of a better foothold. But then we also know that by that time frame, Casablanca Records was already in trouble, and they were really focusing on disco and not rock. It was not only hurting the newer bands that they were signing, like Angel and certainly Trigger, but also we know Kiss at that time. All contributing factors as to why we only got this one album here, and finally now seeing this one having sat on the shelves as long as it did. But this album, a really strong, consistent, solid album that I'm grateful is finally getting a chance to be heard, and a bit deserving of any sort of applause that it will get at this point, because it should have come out when it did. And so let's talk about the songs on here, the certainly the ones that stand out. Track number 1, Back Talk, on here is a killer opening track. It's got a really nice groove to it. Probably the most Slade sounding style song on here. If you want to know what this album is going to be like, check out the first track on here. I think you'll get that Slade connection. Track 2, Down to It, is another barnstorming rockin' track. It's got excellent lead guitar work on it. It just really brings the song home in fine fashion, how great the lead guitar playing is on that track. Skip to track 4, Sore Loser. This one's more of a boogie rock style song. I think this one here, back in 1979, if this thing had come out, it would have really made you want to shake it. It's just got that kind of feeling to it, and is a real nice addition to the overall sound of the album, creating some different, flow to the album. Track 5, May. This one here is a melodic rock style song, but it's got some real good driving bass styles to it. This one here, makes you want the song to take off. It never quite gets there. It sits on the edge of it. But I think that that's a good thing. It's got this wanting sort of to it, that it's going to do something, and then but it doesn't quite. And again, I think this gives a nice different feel to the overall album. I never really like albums that just have the same style of song all the way through it. So this one already has a lot of change up and different feels as you're listening to it. Track number 6, Jump Into It. This one here is more of a pop rock style song. It goes to showing you where the band might have gone if they had been allowed to continue well into the 80s. I think this band could have developed its sound and been very successful in the 80s had they been allowed to continue. But unfortunately, of course, we'll never really know. All right, so take a look at this. This is the front cover, which I actually really like. And of course, they're using the classic Trigger logo. Sometimes they can't always do that, so nice that they did that. Second Round being the title. Here's the back side of this. It is in a cardboard package style. And then we open it up here, and we get this. There's no booklet in here, so just what we're seeing, but you can see where the CD is on the inside of it like that, keeping it so that it doesn't fall out. The information about the album is on the back side here with band members and that sort of stuff, and who wrote the song. So all in all, unfortunately, not too much packaging, but then given the unknown nature of this band and how old the album is and everything of that nature, just the fact that we're getting it at all, I think is a lot right there. So I will take it in any which way that I can get it. But bottom line on this album, I think that the album itself has a lot of power and strength in the performance. Obviously, this band could have gone much further had they been given the option. It's a shame that, we'll never really fully know what it is that the band could have done if they had been allowed to flex their muscles. But the second album really shows you what could have happened. The debut is great. I think this is equally as good. I don't know that it surpasses it, but it's equally as good. And back then bands needed 2, 3, 4 albums to really sometimes get off the ground. And only giving a band the opportunity to release the one album, I think, is unfortunately certainly a detriment to the group itself. But the brilliance of Traeger can finally be heard again on this album in a new way, 46 years on from when it was recorded. I myself, as I said from the beginning, am simply elated to get a second album when I didn't even know there was another one that had been recorded. But I myself like the classic music sounds of the 70s, and I love digging up old bands. It's one of the reasons I love the Rock Candy Records label putting out reissues of stuff like this. So to then find that there is a second album from one of those bands, and I get more of that, it's almost like finding a brand new band out of the 70s, because it's something that I myself have never heard. But I think if you enjoy lost gems of albums like that, you're going to enjoy this one a whole lot. If you are a fan of this one, you're going to enjoy it. But definitely for fans that love rare, obscure 70s rock albums, I think definitely check out this one, Trigger, on Bada Bing Records. And there you go. That is my review of the album, Second Round by the band Trigger. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Do check it out. Head on over to Bada Bing Records for more information about the band. And unfortunately, there's not a lot of the overall band itself online. But hopefully now with this second release, a little bit more light gets shined on the band. They are certainly deserving of it. All right, everyone, take care, have a good one, and I'll talk to you real soon. Bye-bye.